Hi, I'm Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your number one source for real estate advice online. And thank you for checking out my channel. In my channel, I bring you anything and everything related to real estate investing, specifically for the small scale investor like myself. Yay! And in this video, we're going to talk about condo and HOA association foreclosures, specifically in the state of Georgia. But before I get to the meat of this video, make sure you subscribe. At the bottom of this video, there's my website. Subscribe to my newsletter. That's how I send you updates on when new videos come out. I also will subscribe you to my newsletter that has coupons and any other information that I find out. So make sure you subscribe, don't forget. Also check out my audiobooks on my website if you want to learn how to do tax sale foreclosures, and there's a couple other audiobooks, of course, on all kinds of other real estate related topics. Before I forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I do have a local radio show that I produce, and my shows will also be published right here onto YouTube. Also, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's where I will have information about my radio show. I have a local radio show I produce, and it's called Real Estate Real Talk, and the shows are recorded and actually placed right here on YouTube. If you're interested in classes or coaching, contact me. Also, my email address will be at the bottom of this video as well, and you can also just leave me a comment right here below this video. So let's get to the topic. So a couple of you have actually voiced some big interest in this one video that I made about HOA and condo association foreclosures. How can you get properties really cheaply with buying them at foreclosure sales, but not just bank foreclosures or tax foreclosures, but also whenever an HOA or a condo association levy liens against the property owner for non-payment, and how do you go about going to those foreclosure sales and maybe snagging yourself a property here or there for cheap, and how do you do that specifically in the state of Georgia. I did go to one of those sales in the state of Nevada, and those are actually called trustee sales, so those are the ones that I've attended, and I've made videos about those. But I actually live right here in Georgia most of the time. I'm also in New York City quite a bit, and of course I invest wherever there's money to be made, so I'm in Florida, South Carolina, Arizona, a couple other states as well. But specific to Georgia, since I have a couple students in this state, I wanted to talk about HOA and condo association foreclosures in this state. So let's get right to the meat. So whenever a homeowner that owns a condo or a home that is subject to an HOA doesn't pay their fees, they're actually subject to that association, condo association or HOA, to foreclose on them and basically sell the house in their name for non-payment. However, the rules in Georgia are it has to be a judicial foreclosure. That means the HOA and condo association actually has to sue. The whole thing has to go in front of the judge, and the judge then has to decide whether or not that HOA and condo association is going to get any money. And that whole process, whenever you get a judge involved in a court process and a lawsuit, takes extraordinary long amounts of time. And so here in Georgia, since it's a judicial process just like bank foreclosures, this process takes quite a bit of time. Now the thing about Georgia is that in order to bring a outstanding fee such as an HOA or a condo association fee to a court and to sue, the law in Georgia actually states that it has to be in default for $2,000 or more, and we don't have really that expensive HOA and condo fees here in this state. When you go to like a place like Nevada, of course you'd be paying $1,000 a month just in the condo fee or HOA fee, but here in Georgia it's not that much. In my whole career, I've only owned one condo that had a fee, and it was like $150 a month, so it's very little. So you can see that it takes quite some time for $2,000 to accumulate before the HOA or condo association can do anything about this. And even so, when it does go in front of a judge, what usually happens is that the judge will use selling the house or selling the condo or the home as a last resort. They try to kind of go all other avenues first. For example, wage garnishments or bank account garnishments or actual liens against the property, basically, so that when the property is then sold, that the lien has to be satisfied for it to transfer a good title. So the judge in this state anyways is going to always try to use selling the home as a last resort. And the other option that a condo association or a HOA has is to shut off the water to the homeowner that didn't pay their dues. They can also restrict or limit or basically completely eliminate amenity rights for that particular community. So if there's pool rights or tennis court rights or something like that, access will no longer be granted until you have caught up your HOA fees or condo fees. So those are kind of some of the other options that are available. So I switched positions a little bit because I got kicked off the bleachers over there. But I'm back, so let's talk a little bit more about condo and HOA association foreclosures in the state of Georgia. So as I mentioned, that some of the ways of how to handle outstanding dues, or all the other avenues, are usually explored before somebody actually brings a home to foreclosure or a condo to foreclosure for unpaid fees. So that's kind of something to keep in mind here in the state of Georgia. In other states it's a little bit more lenient. You can be foreclosed on for $80, I've heard. I've not seen this before, but I do have some colleagues out west that have gotten properties for quite cheap for outstanding HOA and condo association dues. So let me just answer a couple of the questions related to this particular topic. So one thing is that an association actually has to really kind of stay on top of collecting those fees. And I know probably some of you guys are watching this video have condos or HOAs, and you're like, well, they're just kind of like, they're taking money from us and we don't want to get foreclosed on for a small fee like that. But the association actually has very good reason to keep track of the fees being collected, and that's because if the association goes under, basically, that the value of all the properties will go under too, and that's gonna make it bad for everybody in the community. And the housing market, of course, is not gonna be so great anyways during this COVID thing and towards the end of this COVID thing. And the fact is that if association has delinquent payments of 25% or over, that it's unlikely that a bank is going to loan a buyer money to buy a property in that community. And because the fees actually serve as a security for the loan. So if an association goes under for non-payment of many people's fees, it's going to be really hard to sell those properties, which is going to decrease the value of them, because basically you're eliminating anybody that can only buy there with financing, and that's going to bring everybody else's property values down. So the association has very good reason to collect on the fees and make sure that they are up to date. Another reason why an association or a condo association or HOA association would want to foreclose is simply because they want to get the current owner out and get somebody in there that starts making the payments. That's kind of like one of the biggest reasons. And also really that if a condo association fee or HOA fee hasn't been paid for a while, it's very likely that the owner also hasn't paid their mortgage notes. So the associations want to get ahead and foreclose on that home before the bank does, because a condo and HOA lien, at least in the state of Georgia, is junior to a mortgage note, as far as I know. Now, if I'm wrong, please correct me if you're an attorney watching this, and put your comment at the bottom there, or at least on equal standing. So that means whoever is first to foreclose is the one who gets the property and then gets the resale rights, basically. And so you have to be really careful. You want to kind of beat the bank to the buck, basically, to collect. Otherwise, you're just basically going to lose those fees. Now, I can tell you in the past, the one time that I did own that one condo that I'm telling you about, was actually in a really nice gated community in Macon, Georgia, and the fees were only like $145 or $150 a month, so it wasn't extraordinarily high. And basically the money went to maintain all of this. And I was on the board for a little while, and there was a couple, 2 or 3 units that were consistently not making their fees, their payment fees. That were consistently not making the payments of their fees, so that in the end we had really a lot of outstanding fees. I think one time one unit actually came close to $2,000 but not quite. And what we then subsequently did is we actually kind of just told them that, hey, you need to pay up, or you need to bring it current, but we never actually foreclosed on anything. Basically it just sat on my books the whole time. And a couple of times people have sold their units, and of course the closing attorneys then came to me and basically asked, hey, how much is due on this particular unit that's outstanding, and we're gonna basically pay that off at closing before we can close. So all in all, I think if you're looking to purchase properties at HOA or condo association foreclosures, where you would have to look for that is basically where all other foreclosures are advertised. And because it has to be a judicial foreclosure, that means it has to be advertised for a while. And of course, prior to that, there has to be court proceeding. So you kind of need to just watch it and see what happens. And what I would recommend, and I haven't gone after those here in the state of Georgia, but what I would recommend is basically that you check with basically the records that are filed at the Superior County Clerk's office. So of course the lawsuit has to precede any kind of foreclosure proceeding. It's not the same thing. And then you can see, okay, these people are kind of on the slate to be foreclosed on, but we're still waiting kind of like on a court decision. So it's a many-step process, and yeah, that's what I would do if you're looking for those here in the state of Georgia. I know at least one of you students had that question, so I wanted to make that video before I forgot the information myself. Another thing, of course, also is to call the HOA associations, condo associations directly, or get involved in yours if you have one. For example, I own a house in Macon, Georgia still, that has an HOA, but the collection there is $50 a year. That's really just $50 a year. So it's gonna take forever, like practically forever, for them to get it up to $1,000 outstanding dues on any one house. And of course, you know, after 20 years, you know, I'm not gonna track it that long. That is the information on HOA Condo Association foreclosures. Watch for them in the regular newspaper wherever foreclosures are advertised, and also watch, you know, what kinds of court proceedings are at the Superior Court, Superior County Clerk, basically, on any kind of lawsuits that are filed against individuals who haven't paid their dues in your particular county here in Georgia. And if you want information on other states, we need to research that together. We can do that in individual coaching. I can also answer individual questions if you like, so please contact me. My email is realestate@juliamspencer.com. You can also leave me a comment at the bottom of this video, or if you have any other questions, you can also put them here, and I'll be glad to answer. Before I'm done with this video, please subscribe at the bottom of this video right here at my website for my newsletter, as I initially mentioned, for additional information, for coupons, for your free guide to real estate investing, and leave me comments and suggestions. Have a great day investing. Bye-bye.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.